everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is time to start the second vlog for my August reading, so we're gonna do that today. I spent the first weekend of this vlog visiting family, so I will put in some clips of my weekend right here. And so today is the 19th of August, and I wanted to give you a quick kind of update, just letting you know what I'm reading at the moment. So my current audiobook is When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen. I'm about a little bit more than 40%, almost halfway through this book right now. This is a horror novel that focuses on a previous plantation that was now renovated to be a wedding venue, and we're following our main character, who is a black woman who grew up poor, but she had a white best friend, and this best friend is now getting married at this plantation venue. And so our main character goes there to attend the wedding, but they do have some kind of history with this plantation as well, and it is said that it is haunted. So far the personal drama of this is a lot more than I thought. I did like the past storyline where we see these characters as kids. They were actually three friends. There's also a black boy who was friends with them, and so this relationship of them as kids was quite interesting to read about. Now we're kind of reading about the wedding, which I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I hope that we will get some of the scary bits back, because there are a couple of chapters that are just very eerie, and so I hope that there will be some thrill in it as well. For my physical reading, I'm making my way through The Name of All Things, the second book in the Chorus of Dragons series. In this series we have a world where there is this like big behind the scenes war between gods and demons, and we have a couple of characters that just get sucked into this. In the second book we mainly learn about a character called Jenn and her journey, basically, which I'm very much enjoying reading about. I have pretty much exactly 200 pages left of this, so we'll see how much of this I can get read today. But since it is my first day back home, today really is just a day for relaxation, for calming down, having some cuddles with the cat, enjoying that the weather has finally cooled down. Like, I had all of my windows open just a moment before, and just relaxing, enjoying my vacation. I have this whole week off now, so it's gonna be fun, and I'll let you know what happens next. So today is the 21st of August and I'm here to give you a quick reading update because last night I finished reading The Name of All Things by Jenn Lyons, the second book in the Chorus of Dragons series, and I really enjoyed this book. Now, I gave this book 4.5 stars. I did enjoy it more than the first book. I thought it was less confusing than the first book and it had just more of a like streamlined story it was telling, which I very much appreciated. This also did something clever in the end, where this book makes you think it is all about one character, when in the end it kind of turns around and it shows you it's kind of not what's going on here. But yeah, I really had a good time reading this. Why did I give it 5 stars? I think this book is still a little bit too long. I think it still could have been just a little bit less because it takes forever to read this book, and even though I was kind of engaged and interested in what was going on, I still had times when I just felt like, wow, I'm still reading this, like this has to come to an end somehow. And so yeah, I think it was just still a tad bit too long, which makes me a little bit worried about the next book in the series because it is even longer than this one. But apart from that, I really think this was a great read. I really enjoyed the way we explore different kinds of society in here, and then also this idea of empire, and then one of my favorite things is the meddling gods. So all of that in here makes me very happy, and I can't wait to read more in this series, which I will definitely do for the rest of this month. I have The Memory of Souls right here, but I think I'm not gonna start it quite yet because I want to do a little project first. So I can't really tell you what I'm reading next because I don't even know myself yet, but we'll find out today. When this video comes out, my little project will already have been uploaded. So what I want to do is another one of these ultimate booktube videos because yeah, it was just so fun doing it last year. Last year I went to a bookstore, I bought a book, I read the book and I reviewed the book. So what I want to do this year, because I don't want to go out and buy a book, this year I want to do a library edition. So I will go to my library in a second, look for a book, and then we'll see what we'll read. And if you like this idea, definitely check out the video as well. And then lastly, for my audiobook, I haven't made great progress. I really need to get back into listening to my audiobook a little bit more. I've been listening to a lot of the DNC speeches, which is very heartwarming. I think there is a lot there that Democratic parties in Europe can learn right now from what is happening in the US. I'm very worried that we won't learn that, but yeah, it's a joy to see, and I just, yeah, it's, as many people say, it's just something you want to be a part of, and even though I'm not American, I just still want to be a part of that, and the hopefulness it brings is just really great, and let's just hope it carries through to November, because this world, and Europe especially, cannot survive another Trump term. Just saying. So yeah, I haven't really made any progress in my audiobook, but that's fine. We'll get back to it soon. And then these two books will go back to the library. I've read this one, wasn't the biggest fan, 3.5 stars. Still have not managed to read this one, but one day I might. So today is the 24th of August. My magical readathon TBR is already looming behind me, but I do have some reading updates for this month. So I did finish 2 books and I start 2 books. Let's talk about them. Last night I finished reading The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie. This is a Korean-inspired YA fantasy book following a girl called Mina who sacrifices herself to the sea god because she doesn't want her brother's lover to be the one to be sacrificed. And when she arrives in the sea god's city, she's trying to figure out what's going on, why the gods have kind of left their people to fend for themselves. And this was really cute, really beautiful. The ending had so many emotions, it actually made me tear up a little bit. So while the first half I wasn't quite sure how I would feel about this, the last half and the ending definitely got me and I gave it 4.5 stars in the end. I did a whole reading vlog reading this book, which is already up, so if you're interested in more thoughts, I will let you check that one out. So my next physical read, in a desperate hope that somehow I will finish this before the month is over, which is ridiculous, it's really ridiculous, is going to be The Memory of Souls, the book 3 in the Chorus of Dragons series. I'm very excited about this. We're going back to Korean and Chanel and we're going to see what happens next. I have heard from Cleo from the channel Bemused Bookworm that this and the 4th book are her favorite in the series. So I have expectations. We'll see how fast I can get this read. This is massive. And then I also finished my audiobook while I was cleaning just a second ago. I finished listening to When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen. This book is an interesting one because I think it suffered a little bit from me reading it during my vacation, because when I'm on vacation I just don't listen to that much of an audiobook. I often listen to it walking to and back from work and stuff like that, so things I don't do when I'm on vacation. And so I think listening to this one in smaller chunks than usual did take away a little bit of the amazing atmosphere that this book is known for. I still think it had an amazing atmosphere. It actually managed to give me a nightmare, which not a lot of horror books do, but this one definitely did. Actually, you know when you have a nightmare and you wake up and you're like, why am I dreaming this? And I had to think about it a little bit and I was like, yeah, right, I listened to this horror book right before going to sleep. Not very smart on my part. So in the end, I did end up enjoying it, but I did not end up loving it. So that was a bit of a shame. I still think the ending was quite good. I had heard that the ending is a little bit disappointing, that the quote-unquote reckoning isn't quite what you would want from this book. And I think in a horror storytelling sense, I absolutely get that. But from what the book is trying to say, I think it still worked really well, and I think it got the message across, and I think the I don't want to say disappointing reckoning, but just the not as explosive reckoning as we would expect from a horror novel is the point. It is the point of the book. So I still really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I would definitely reread this someday just to see how I like it when I just listen to it in more of a bigger chunk basically. But it was a good audiobook and I would definitely recommend if you were into horror books, and the summer vibes were definitely there. It's very hot and sticky, especially the way it describes everything in the beginning. It also leans into a wedding because we're following this wedding that is going to take place at a former plantation. So that also always gives me summer vibes because in Germany most people marry in the summer, and yeah, it was just the right fit to listen to right now, apart from the fact that I'm on holiday and I just didn't have so much time to listen to it. That sounds wrong. I had the time, I just decided to do other things. And so now it is time to start a new audiobook, and I'm going to do a reread for my little rereading project. And I started The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which is one of my 2018 favorite books. So we'll see whether it holds up. I hope you all know what this one is about. This follows a girl called Star who is in a school that is predominantly white, and she's going to this party, and one of her like childhood friends is driving her home and they get stopped by the police, and ultimately her childhood friend is killed in front of her, and everything that ensues from there. So I'm very intrigued to see how well this holds up and how I feel about it now, because we had such a surge of like stories similar to this, or just building on the success of this book, I would say. Especially also, I might be wrong because I'm not very good with like analyzing book trends and stuff, but I feel like this rise also in Black YA horror that we've had in the last couple of years is also like a longer consequence of the success of this book. Just the whole like YA audiences being interested in Black stories, I think was just shown so well with the success of this book to the publishers, and so nowadays luckily we get so many more diverse stories. So yeah, I'm intrigued to reread this one, and I'll talk to you when something interesting happens, which might not be very soon. So, it's still hot here. If I look like a sweaty mess, it's because I am. But I want to finish off the vlog because we have come to the end of August. Yesterday I did finish reading Memory of Souls by Jenn, Lyons. I will talk more about this in an upcoming reading vlog where I will talk about the first 3 books in the Chorus of Dragons series. So let me just say that this book so far was my favorite of the series. I gave it 5 stars. The ending clenched my heart. I had a knot in my stomach and it was just a lot. Like also what happened right at the end there, no idea where that's going, but I'm intrigued. I can't wait to pick up the next book in the series, and this was honestly so good. And then I also finished my reread of The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. On reread, I decided to give it more of a 4.5 than a 5-star rating, but I still think it's a very important read. I think it is a little bit dated, as I probably mentioned before, especially with all of the Harry Potter references in the beginning of the book. But overall, I think it's an important read, an interesting read. I really enjoyed going back and seeing these characters again. And I think with us having lived through 2020 and seen what happened with George Floyd and all the protests in the US and all over the world after that, it's just different to read this book now, to be honest. It just hits differently, and I think with some of the things at the end of the book where when I read this the first time I thought it was a little bit much and a little bit dramatic, now I'm like, well, we actually saw that happen, so it's rather realistic. So I did really enjoy this reread. And that's it for August, because now we're going into September, we're going into the Magical Readathon, so I did not start any new books. And if you want to see my Magical Readathon vlogs, then you better subscribe. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye!